Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra.
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. All right, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing this beautiful Friday morning? Hope you guys are well. Uh-oh. Boy, that camera is off. Let's make some adjustments there, honey child. Everybody good? Good morning. Hello. How are you? All right, let me just send out all the links to the news channel on WhatsApp. Don't forget, if you have not joined the news channel, you should. It's a good opportunity for you to get all of the news straight to your inbox and your WhatsApp and never miss a beat again. Lots and lots of things happening in the community, and we are here trying to keep you updated with all of it, quite frankly. Some days it's a lot, boy, I tell you what. What a thing. So yes, yesterday's program took a bit of an unexpected turn with, I need to, excuse me 1 second. Let me grab my little box of tissues this morning. Hold on 1 second, honey, chill. Yes, we haven't done a Sort 'em Out Sandy jingle in a minute.
It's 2022, and CMR is taking talk to the next level. Are you tired of talk shows that offer no solutions for you? Talk, and more talk? Here at CMR, we believe in action. Tune into our new segment where we answer your questions about life, marriage, business, and so much more. Anything you want advice on, reach out to us for a special dose of the cold, hard truth. Having a hard time with a business? Sort 'em Out Sandy is here. Relationship woes? Sort 'em Out Sandy is here. Confused by the procedures to follow? Sort 'em Out Sandy is here. Submit your questions via email to tips@caymanmarlroad.com, on WhatsApp or on Messenger.
Well, honey child, y'all just calls into the show, and that's fine too. So yeah, yesterday's program took an unexpected turn in more ways than one. Wow. That lady, Mary Jean, is really something else. Oh my God, unbelievable. It really is shocking how people can get the opportunity to come to such a beautiful place like the Cayman Islands. And when I say beautiful, I'm certainly not talking about our beaches, where they say sand, sun, and what's the other S? I'm not talking about that. I am talking about the amazing opportunities that people are presented to improve their lives and to become part of a community, quite frankly, that, embraces them, They can come here and work and build something back home that they can return to one day. Not everywhere in the world do you have that type of a opportunity presented to you. And I would have thought, but that's just me, that if you get an opportunity like that, my gosh, you latch onto it and you do your best to just, stay on the straight and narrow path. Even if you weren't on the straight and narrow path in your own country, you come here and you turn over a new leaf and you work and, keep your head down. But it appears that, unfortunately, some people cannot help themselves. So this lady, Mary Jean, falls into that category now. She's been at this for a minute. I was thinking to myself, I couldn't quite remember how I was first introduced to her. And this is why yesterday I was asking some probative questions of the caller. And I was also in my brain searching, because obviously I knew that we had featured her before, but I was also in my brain searching for how long ago it was and exactly how it began. So it didn't take long for one of my astute students listening to the program to search it up and to send me the relevant information. And wow, this lady has been prolific. She, back in 4 years ago, in 2010, I think it was, stole 2020, my apologies, stole money from one of her own coworkers, $1,800. And she didn't just steal money. This woman is deceptive to a degree that should make all of us extremely cautious. Because sometimes I think Caymanians are very naive. And I think a lot of times that still holds true. We're easily fooled by people who have done a better job of deceiving communities all over the world. And Cayman is like easy pickings for them. They see our naivete is something that they can easily take advantage of. And I do think it's a problem. I'm not entirely surprised. So we have to combat these types of people and situations with a little dose of the cold hard truth, to be quite frank and honest. Apparently during the show yesterday, she was listening to the show. And, people like her think that they're smarter than everybody else. That's a narcissist for you. They're the smartest person in the room, and they're going to use their smarts to really try to hoodwink everybody else into believing their narrative. How does the saying go? Fool me once, shame on you. But she's never fooled me, because listen, the second I was on to her, it was very, very obvious the kind of person she is. She's a common thief, but she's a common thief that has had a lot of practice, and she is extremely manipulative. That's why I use the term narcissist to describe her. Obviously, I'm no psychiatrist or psychologist that has officially diagnosed her, but there's certain qualities that you can look at for people who display narcissistic personality disorder. And she seems to have all of them, to be quite frank. So yeah, she was tuned into the program. One of her own Filipino people sent this to me, and big shout out to the Filipino community, because they're ashamed of people like this. So there she was listening to the show. They don't want people like her here either. So I wanted to review and talk about what actually happened before with her, why we're even here, because quite frankly, from 4 years ago, she should have been kicked off this island. But thanks to the judiciary, I'm going to give them some blame in this as well, and the DPP's office, who would have had to somehow sign on to this. This woman was permitted and allowed to carry out a theft and actually get a dismissal on all of the charges. Now look at how incredibly interesting this is. And I can tell you without fear of contradiction that if this was a Caymanian, you would not be getting any dismissals. You probably would have been in jail for the $1,800. So this young lady who's a work permit holder, and I'm not going to mince my words this morning, none at all, was actually permitted to steal $1,800, remain in this country, with a type of personality that she will never stop. You see, there's some people in certain types of behaviors that they don't stop until they're stopped. And narcissists fall into that category. So she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 charges, 6 violations, all dismissed because she was able to enter into agreement, and I guess the DPP's office brokered this agreement for her to pay the money back. Now, I saw some of the comments on social media about, well, you know, technically she wasn't found guilty or something like that when we made a post about this yesterday. And I think that's an interesting way to look at what this is. In the US, they have a way of you pleading no contest to something, where basically you're not admitting guilt, but you're not admitting to anything. But there is an understanding that pretty much by pleading no contest, you are admitting to it. So I don't know why anybody in their right mind, even the victim, thought that this was a good idea. But you see, a lot of times people are very, very short-sighted. And when somebody owes you money, you just want your money back. That's the bottom line. A lot of times you don't care. You're like, listen, I just want my money. I don't care who they do it to next, or I'm not going to worry about all that. But you have to worry about it, because imagine if you were the next victim, right? So back in 2020, the system, and you can see that these offenses go back to 2018, the system had an opportunity to stop her, and the system failed to do so. And I can only lay that squarely on the shoulders of the DPP's office. Yes, that's them. And the court system, I don't know if when the DPP's office brings this type of thing to the court system, the magistrates can say, hold on a second, we're not going to agree to a dismissal. I know in the States, the judges they play an integral part. They can accept or deny plea bargains. I think here, for the most part, it's up to the parties. And so it's very, very easy for people to broker these deals with lazy persons from the DPP's office. So anyway, she was able to broker this deal. I showed you guys the interview yesterday that we did. And so, you know, the victim eventually got her money back over a period of time. She probably stole from other people in order to get her the money back. But when you look at the nature of the deception of what she did, this now is where, again, the DPP's office and the courts need to wise up. This wasn't a situation, this wasn't an opportunistic theft. So this wasn't like an envelope drop that had $1,800 in it and she just grabbed up the $1,800. This was her stealing her coworker's debit card. Listen to the depth of all of this, right? Stealing her coworker's debit card. That means then you have time to think about it. Getting her coworker's PIN number. So there's a degree of planning involved in this thievery. And going to the ATM machine in her work shirt, by the way, she's so bright. So again, for those of you who are like, well, she wasn't found guilty. Well, she pretty much admitted guilt. And they caught her in CCTV footage. So there's no question that she had the woman's debit card and that she took it. Then what she did is she returned to the scene of the crime, put the debit card underneath a mattress so that when it was eventually found, the person would be like, oh, maybe I just misplaced my debit card. That's if they didn't notice the $1,800 missing. So she really went out of her way to carry out this particular theft. And it demonstrates a certain kind of personality when you can do all of these different steps and levels, right? When she was finally caught, she then turned around and said to the victim, I think it was actually before she was caught, the victim was talking to her about, oh my God, somebody stole my money, before they had the CCTV footage to see that it was her. So she actually also worked on this young lady as a quote unquote friend, right? Pretended to be her friend and talked to her about this situation. She actually said to her, well, what if it was someone that needed the money more than you? You can imagine you're telling a friend, keep in mind the context of where these people work. They're minimum wage workers working in a salon together. $1,800 has gone missing from your account. You know you didn't take it. You didn't spend it. And you're telling your friend, oh my gosh, somebody stole $1,800 from me. And your friend responds to you and tells you, well, maybe it was somebody who needed the money more than you. The audacity is really, really shocking. But again, it goes to the point of the type of person she would be. No shame whatsoever. Oh, somebody's going to steal from you because they need it more than you need it. Wow. Both of them working in the same the same salon, hustling the same way, barely getting paid, because y'all know that was Ruth Anna and she wasn't paying people. And she's going to tell you, well, maybe somebody needed it more than you. Okay. Quite interesting. All right. They eventually get the footage. And they then see that it was her. Like I said, I don't know. I have no clue what the DPP's office was thinking when they dismissed these charges. This is crazy to me. I've seen people do less than this and they go after them like they committed a capital offense, like capital murder. But boy, I guess even low straight here in court will get you a pass, apparently. Anyway, she paid the woman her money back, and then she was free to continue to get a clean police record. You see, this is the problem now, The other reason why she should have never been able to get a pass is because under no circumstances, and I mean no circumstances, should an expat, and I'm sorry, expats, y'all might get offended this morning, but the Lord will be with you. I'm sure of that. If you come to my country and you commit an offense, there should be no second chances. Okay? That's one of the things. You're here to work permit. You are not a Caymanian. So you don't get the benefit of getting a second chance. You're supposed to have a good character. That's why you get a work permit, because on there it talks about having a good character. If you don't have a good character, you should have never gotten a work permit and you shouldn't be here. So let's be very, very clear. When you start to demonstrate that you actually do not have good character in the police, the DPP's office, WORC, CBC, whoever these agencies are, they're all policing agencies to some extent, get wind of your not so good character, they need to pursue the matter to the end. You don't give people like this a pass. Because here we are 4 years later, and I hate to think of how many victims in that 4-year period she has been able to take advantage of. We don't know. Because I'm telling you, a lot of victims would be too ashamed to come forward. This is one of the things about financial crimes, rape offenses and other offenses, is that they carry a certain degree of shame, right? People are like, oh my God, I can't believe I was that stupid. I can't believe that I trusted her. I can't believe that I fell for her, conniving ways. And so they gave her this clean slate opportunity to continue to do what she does best, which is be dishonest and steal from people. Very, very deceitful individual. And as we can see, she hasn't stopped. Accusations of her stealing jewelry from another one in her community. Miguel says she's a shame to the Filipino community. I know a lot of them are very, very ashamed of her. So yesterday, while we were talking about her, she was there listening to the program. There she was watching the show, paying attention to everything that we were saying. Then she jumped on her social media and started trying to scrub her social media. Well, child, we don't need you to scrub it. Everything, we already know what we need to know about you. Miguel says she needs to be deported, and I think you're absolutely right. She needs to be found guilty, serve a little bit of jail time, and then deported back to her own country. So then she's a brave one, without a doubt. She then gets in the comment section of one of the posts after the show and has the following to say. Boy, she has a number of people that have liked her comment. Let me see now. Let me tell you how strongly I feel about this sort of thing. I think every person who liked this comment, she had 13 people like it. And some people are just laughing at her, to be honest. It's not necessarily that they liked it, but the people who liked it, some of them are her own Filipino people. One person, Angel Ebanks, was shocked at it. Tanya Edwards, she liked it. Now we can only assume that when you like a comment, that means that you obviously in agreement with what this person has said. Now we can't do anything with full Caymanians liking it who don't have any better sense. But all of the other people who liked it, I think immigration needs to take a very close look at who these people are. So here's this one. Joe Augustin. He works at low voltage technician at Brit Hay Electric Limited. Nevis Ganaban, Filipino person, doesn't say where she works. Nadine Shippey. All right, that one lives Montego Bay, so we can't do nothing about her. Erwin Estushi. You see, you guys, you're certainly free to like what you like, but you're encouraging someone who's proven themselves. A few people laughing at her comment. Here's another one. He works at K9 Security. Renee Uganam. If I were the authorities here, I would be kind of paying attention. Here's another one that works at K9 Security. Aki Viscara. These people are here working. These are Filipino guys who are here working in the security industry. And they think this is funny that she posted this comment that basically said, and I'll read it out to you guys here now, that basically said, who are you to be calling me about something? So this is what she said. Hi, Miss Sandra. I'm sorry for not picking up your phone call. You know why? She faced the bad. That one thing I know. She really faced the bad. And when she's in court the next time, I'm going to make sure that I'm sitting there looking her right in the face, because when she turns on the waterworks, I'm going to burst out laughing in court. Because it's all an act, you see. It's all pretense. She says, you know why? First, you are not my employer. Where is her employer? Janitzi, did you all call her yesterday? I'm curious to know where her employer actually is. Right? What is her? She's right. I'm not an employer. And I have to question, what exactly is her employer doing? So she says, you're not my employer. Second, I don't need to explain myself to you or anything. Third, the government or even immigration knows my status, that I am acquitted of all of your accusations against me. So can you please stop shaming people, especially if you do not know the whole truth or story? God bless you. Don't be fooled, folks. I know they're not fooling me. I don't know who they're trying to fool, but it definitely not me. God bless me, poor her. She the one who gonna need the blessings here shortly. So she's bright, very bright. Like I said yesterday, remember during the show when I said to the young lady who called that she's going to be contacting them and crying about how she has children and whatever, and she laughed. She said, yeah, that's how she is. You see, I can peg this woman because I know her type and I know what she's done in the past, utilizing those children in order to get sympathy from people. And of course she did it again after yesterday's program. I'll show you the screenshots here in a second. That's no surprise. Absolutely no surprise whatsoever. Now, she has been permitted to stay here for all of these years, where now she's gotten to the point where she's conned enough people. She's worked hard enough where she can afford a home in the Philippines. So remember, she don't have no money. I don't have no money. Let me show you all the money that she has been able to acquire to purchase a house in the Philippines off of the back of her own poor Filipinos that she has been hoodwinking and taking advantage of. Here's her digs in the Philippines that she purchased last year. Nice little place. Yeah. Now, one of the things I want y'all to keep in mind, when she says that she's been acquitted, she's not been acquitted of anything. The charges were dropped. They were dismissed. And yet she paid the money back. You wouldn't pay back money that you never stole. Look at this little house that she has for herself in the Philippines. And yet she's here, there, and everywhere stealing from hardworking people. No wonder she can't pay you your money back, because she's building her life. This is her retirement plan. So when we go out to grab her up and put her in jail, she has somewhere nice to run to before the authorities can get her, because they kind of slow. This is a beautiful little home. I don't know exactly where in the Philippines, but look at this. Yeah. That's what she's up to. That's where she is spending your money. She also opened a fast food restaurant in the Philippines. Okay? So she's doing quite well for herself. Talking about she was acquitted. Lord Jesus. What a liar. I saw someone mentioning, oh yes, Miguel says $1,800 is here. Evaporate amount, 8 Filipinos in from the Philippines paid $1,800 CI each. She might be using that for a PR application. Well, this was the money that she stole, to be clear, Miguel, 4 years ago from her coworker. What she now took from her own Filipino to be able to get here is over $4,000 US. Okay? And like I said, she reached out to them now, begging them to not go to the authorities. This is her MO, because she has children. Oh my gosh, imagine. That's always her excuse. She has children. Well, she got enough, God knows. I'm assuming she's never heard of something called birth control with the 7 or 8 children, or 9 now that she has. But you can't be a thief and a crook and then talking about you have children. And so anything that you do, including stealing from people, obtaining property by deception from people, can be excused because you have children. There's a lot of people, Mary Jane, just for the record, that have children. And they're not doing that. They're not stealing from people. So Miguel says that's true. She took other people money to pay for the court. Dawn says a friend would never say that. This is where she said, oh, maybe somebody else needed it more than you. Irvin said right away I would suspect her. Morning, Paul. Jim says that's a huge amount of money for some. Stealing any amount is too much. Strong Mind and Body said, what a friend she is. Oh, yeah. Yep. Had time to smile up in this woman's face. Went to the ATM machine on multiple occasions. So every one of those charges, those 6 charges that you saw on the charge sheet, was for every time she went to the ATM machine, pulling out a total of $1,800. So again, she even had time to think about it in between. So say, for example, the first time she was desperate to pay something, right? Took out low $300-400. You would have thought, man, she would know better. So I don't know exactly how she got her PIN, but it looks like sometimes they would go to the ATM machine together. And it seems like she was watching her coworker very, very closely. Like I said, this is it's not necessarily a sophisticated offense, but it is an offense that took a degree of planning over quite a period of time. And then she went to the machine on multiple occasions to be able to take out the money. In fact, give me 1 second here. I'm going to just see if the details are in the CMR article that we posted. So I can tell you exactly how she did it. Let's see here. So, yeah. So she's been described by her former employers and coworkers as a narcissist and habitual thief. This was the article from back in 2020. And it goes on to say the victim, Elizabeth, we'll call her that, and Mary Jane were both coworkers and good friends at Renaissance Beauty Salon in Walker's Road when the complainant noticed that 2 debit cards had gone missing. So she did it with 1 debit card, didn't stop, and then got her other debit card. So the initial card went missing in May of 2018. She reported it to the bank who issued a replacement card. However, in a few months, this was carried out over a period of time. The second debit card went missing as well. On the second occasion, the card went missing on a Thursday. and was finally missed on Sunday, so she didn't know. And in that space of time, 6 transactions occurred on Saturday where she removed some $1,800 from her coworker's bank account at gas stations and CNB ATM machines. So she went around to different locations and kept going after the woman's money. It was later discovered that she was stealing the card from her friend's handbag and then visiting her at her apartment. And the police were eventually contacted and launched a full investigation, which included obtaining CCTV footage at ATM machines. She was subsequently arrested and charged with 6 counts of theft, 1 for each transaction. Elizabeth recalls that when she mentioned it to her trusted friend, she was encouraged to leave it alone and not report the matter to the police, convincingly telling her that karma, Lord God, karma would eventually take care of them, and maybe the person needed the money more than her. It was then that the debit card reappeared in her handbag that Elizabeth realized the thief was someone close to her. In fact, it was eventually revealed that Mary Jean had taken both cards. The second card was I think this would be the first card was found almost a year later underneath her mattress in the apartment that she lived in. Another friend moved into that apartment, and during their cleaning of the unit before occupancy, she discovered the old card. So the first card, which she never found, was found by the next tenant that moved in. She had put it underneath the mattress. Despite the overwhelming evidence against her, the DPP's office agreed to a not guilty plea agreement where she agreed to pay the money back over some 5 months and apologized to her coworker. Listen to this now. Narcissist behavior. An apology to her coworker has yet not been received. As a result of this deal, her record remains clean. And then the victim here, you can go and watch this video if you haven't seen it already, spoke to CMR about the 1.5-year ordeal that she had gone through. And this was not the only person. Mary Jean has been stealing from people from day one. She came to Cayman in 2014. She was working with Shane McLaughlin at Nail Bar. And when she started working there, envelopes from her coworkers containing all of their money, their pay, would go missing. Tips would go missing. So when they would return to the bank, money would go missing. Jewelry that customers inadvertently left behind at the salon would also disappear. Right? She went on to work for Lux Spa and Salon under cloud of suspicion because coworkers there were saying that their money would sometimes go missing. Her work permit was not renewed there. And at this time, she was the mother of 7 children, including a 20-year-old. So now that's the 20-year-old that's working here at Mango Tree. Now she has another child, so I guess she's a mother of 8 now. Jim says that her name should have been flagged across the board for all government entities to see names of these types of persons. And again, because the DPP's office decided to allow her to walk away scot-free, this is exactly what happens. All right. Miguel. So she kept on promising people to provide work permits to my friends, 8 of them. Oh my gosh. So Miguel, your 8 friends now need to come forward. They need to contact the authorities. I'm going to tell you who they need to contact and what they need to do. Like I said, I'm not surprised by this. This is what people do. This is what people like her do. They don't stop. Okay? They just continue. So, your friends can email. I'm going to give you some email addresses. They need to email the RCIPS. They need to email WORC. And they will add to the investigation. So this is how she's able to start a business in the Philippines. This is how she's able, folks, to get this lifestyle that she has. So Miguel, 8 of his friends times $1,800 with receipts under her name. And now she's ignoring all of their calls and messages, not afraid of God. She should go to jail and be deported. She should. She should, without a doubt. Okay? Shocking. Now, let me show you what else she's been up to. So she sends out this message. This is one of the victims, got over $4,000 from him. She also promised us the permit, and we have some proof that she got her money. We want her to get to jail. I have the proof that we transfer the money to her account. Actually, we're 8 victims of Mary Jean. The other 5 was in the Philippines until now, waiting for the result. She already unfriended us on Facebook. Hopefully we can get justice to this matter. Folks, you will get justice if you do what I tell you to do this morning in terms of notifying the authorities. All right? They need to go and arrest her pending further investigation and take her passport, because what she's now going to do is she's going to make a run for it. So I'm told reliably that she was let go from her job yesterday. Can we get a hallelujah and an amen up in here?
Praise the Lord.
All right, good. Employers smartened up real quick. Good. Now, the authorities, because now she's a flight risk, they need to go. I'm sure she probably listened to the show again this morning. They need to go and get her passport. They need to arrest her. You guys need to contact them immediately. So this is what I want you to do, because I have phone numbers. I'm not necessarily going to put those on air, of people you can speak to. There's an active investigation now into this woman. So Mark, Duga, reach out. Miguel, please tell all of your friends, even the ones in the Philippines, have them reach out. This is modern day times now, folks. Multi-jurisdictional, way of getting to her. Here's the proof. This is the bank account that she forwarded to us for the money under her name. She promised us to get her permit within 2 months only, but unfortunately, we don't receive any permit from her. She told us to resign from her jobs in Saudi Arabia. These people are ridiculous. These people, I mean, Mary Jean is ridiculous. She has instructed people to leave their jobs. And I'm sure it wasn't easy to get a job in Saudi Arabia, but somehow she's convinced them to leave their good jobs, and she was going to guarantee them a job in the Cayman Islands. I'm trying to see what bank account here, what bank this is. So there's the money, cash in. January 26, 2024 is the date of this transaction. Mary Jean, there's her full name, Mary Jean A, and then the last name there. 011, that's CNB, I think. Although the numbers are too, is that the full number? No, that's too, it's a savings account, cash deposit. I'm trying to see which I think this might not be CNB actually, because the numbers are too long. Can't make out what bank this is. 118,800 pesos. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I am curious as to why the banks haven't flagged her yet, because they are so strict with all their KYC and certain people can't deposit into your account and all this. Why haven't they flagged her account yet? She doesn't own a proper business, so she's getting all this money coming in. Why haven't they flagged that and investigated that from the bank's perspective as well? This is crazy how she's been able to get away with this for so long.
Yeah, it is. And it shows you the multiple failures that we have in all the different elements of the system. And like I said,
it's crazy. And can you imagine those people? Like, that money is not easy for them to just...
Exactly. Let me tell you something. I know from personal experiences and other cases, right, that other people who found themselves in this situation, they had to borrow the money in order to even get the money to come to Cayman. So they're putting themselves in a deficit with the hopes that, you know, they get the job and they can come here and pay it back. So these people probably went to family members and other people and borrowed the money, or they'd been saving it up for quite some time. This might be their life savings.
Wow. I just hope that someone in power or someone, like, other than the DPP's office, because we can't rely on them, obviously, but I hope someone hint that is running on immigration reform will kick out against this, because you can reform immigration all you want. But if these people are doing these things fraudulently and all that, that adds to our problem.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So hopefully the right people will kick out and the right thing will happen, because this is crazy.
Absolutely sad. Thank you so much, my dear. So I'm glad to see members of the Filipino community here now in the comments section. So Mike is saying, are you with Sir Mark? Please DM me and we will add you to our group chat. Well, add me to the group chat, Mike. Add my number 324-1612, because then I can talk to all of you collectively. So obviously this is a group chat now of her numerous victims. Add me. I've got email addresses. I've got, you know, in ways that you can collectively share all of your information with the authorities. Listen, at some point, you've got to understand that she's not going to be paying you any of this money back. In the Philippines, if you get a conviction here and you can maybe show that to the Filipino authorities, I don't know what they would do in terms of compensation orders, if they can help you with that. But the first thing you guys need to do is get her convicted. She needs to spend some time in jail. And she needs to lose the most important thing that she has, which isn't even her children that she's using to hoodwink you all with. It is actually the opportunity to remain and live and stay in the Cayman Islands and benefit from the lifestyle here. Opening up restaurants, building a nice house in the Philippines on the back of her own Filipino people. It's absolutely disgusting. Ms. Debbie, good morning. Debbie says she's the epitome of the infamous phrase D, aka Driftwood. Robert says, Auntie, you're too calm this morning. Or is this the calm before 9:30? Good topic, but we need more fire. Some mornings, I like to bring it nice and calm, honey child. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning, darling. How are you?
I think with all these stacks of evidence that is floating around, you should put up a poll and ask the question, should the authority at this moment immediately seize her passport and put a stop order on her?
Yes, yes.
I think we should put up a poll.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll do that in the WhatsApp channel, actually, but I completely agree. And somebody else said, yes, they were actually thinking about all the CML your compliance people are going, yeah, that last caller made a very, very good point. that how is she getting away with depositing all this money? No questions are being asked. Boy, apparently they only selected for again, who they want to ask questions for. Because something not right here. I don't know who she banks with. You see, the only way that they can confiscate her passport and put in a stop order is if she's arrested. So the question then really is, should she be arrested today? If she, as far as I know, she hasn't been arrested. Because they don't have the powers to put in stop orders and so forth. So her passport can be confiscated and a stop order can be put in place. All right. So, yeah, so that's the question. But yeah, I mean, it's a very, very good question about how, from a compliance perspective, she's able to get away with all this money flowing through some bank account here in the Cayman Islands and then leaving the jurisdiction. The evidence is there. This lawyer says, I was thinking the same thing. Some SEMA AML requirements, if not a local bank, OECD and FATF have the same requirements. All banks have structures in place that observe clients' pattern of behavior and red flags when something is off. Also, all banks are required to look regularly at any negative news. And again, this ought to have been flagged as ongoing monitoring. So who does she bank with is the question. Because I don't, I was thinking it was CNB, but the more I looked at that deposit slip, that's not a CNB account number. So does anyone know? And Mark and you guys, please add me to the WhatsApp group because I would like to see more. So at least 8 victims and another 5 in the Philippines. And I'm willing to bet there's way more than that. They just don't know. You see, they're thinking, oh, this is a one-off situation. Siobhan, I wasn't being serious when I said I would burst out laughing in court. I wouldn't literally be laughing, but I would have the biggest smile on my face as they haul her off in handcuffs. Irvin says that she should have kept her mouth shut. No. You know, listen, I have a philosophy about people, right? Whether it's politicians or let them keep talking. Because the more that they talk, the more that they reveal themselves. So I'm glad she put up that post yesterday. When I saw that, I said, oh, she think it's amateur hour. But she clearly don't know me. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. As usual, you got the best topics for exposing criminals. And it's so sad that the Filipinos that she is screwing over, these people have to borrow money from their families and they have to pay it back. And if they don't pay it back, their life is in danger because they may be borrowing this money from somebody that they're probably paying 25 or 30% or 50% interest. The one thing I haven't heard anybody said, why don't we contact the Filipino authority in the Philippines and try to get the scope on her, because it's obvious that this woman, this is not her first time doing stuff like this.
Well, the offenses are being committed in this jurisdiction. So I think you start here by first arresting her, fully build a case with all of her victims, do a public, just like how they did with Judith Douglas, do a public statement. This is the RCIPS now. They do a public statement saying if anybody else has been a victim of this woman, please come forward. You know, we need to build this case, see how many victims there really are out there, and then they can take it from there.
But Sunday, the thing about it is she's not just a today criminal. This, in my opinion, she has been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
And she was probably on the run from the authorities back in the Philippines. It's time for them to know that she's here. Because she would stop at nothing.
They need to work with the Filipino authorities and now try to confiscate her whatever property she has in the Philippines. Someone says she's actually processing proceeds of criminal crime through the bank. Her bank account should be seized and investigated for money laundering as well.
But, you know, I mean, you don't want to be generalizing or judgmental of people that you've been doing. But this is not today's criminal or somebody just started in the criminal activity. This is something that she has been doing a long time because she seems to be a professional in what she's doing. Anyway, Sandy, keep out the good work. And without you would be like a mushroom in the dark.
Thank you, my dear.
And you're better than the politicians because the politicians don't help us. You help us. And you're not just helping one person. You are speaking out on behalf of people that can't speak or refuse. They're scared to speak in. And I thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Dexter. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Caller, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you today?
Morning, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm okay. I'd like to share a story of what I experienced in the past. I hope that I don't take too long for you or other people. This is years ago, more than a decade and a half ago. After I was done with work, I used to go to Sunset House and sit down. And I made friends with a Filipino gentleman who was a chef. And over time, you know, his wife came and sat down, and we became friends, the three of us. And so it became regular. Over that time period, they, you know, sort of began to have some faith in me beyond just being a regular friend. And the gentleman came to me and, with great concern, shared with me what was going on with him. And it was this. Both Filipinos had entered into an agreement with Filipino criminal syndicate out of necessity to get their right to work here in Cayman. And they paid far more than they should have in the Philippines in order to get their way over here to Cayman. Once they were in Cayman, and I'm repeating what they told me. Once they got to Cayman, they started their work. He was a chef. I forget where he was working. The wife was a domestic helper. They paid back the full amount that they owed, which was highly extortionate in the first place. But the criminal syndicate from the Philippines in Cayman were extorting them for even more money, threatening their family back in the Philippines and boasting to them that they couldn't do anything about it because they were in direct collusion with criminal syndicate here in Cayman. I'll just say it was a UDP government. They asked me for help. I said, I'm not sure what I can do, but let me think about it. I went and I spoke to Mr. Barlow, who at that time was a proponent of people here, you know, expatriates coming to Cayman to work, particularly those of lower income wages. I went and spoke to my father. I asked their advice. Mr. Barlow and my father gave me this advice. Folks, you have this choice. Your people are being abused on both ends. Your choice is this. You can stand up and be counted and pay the price and make it a better way for your people moving forward and expose the extortion, expose what is being done to your people trying to find and make a living here in the Cayman Islands. That's your real choice. It's your choice to stand up. If you want me to go forward and stand with you, I will. Now, those two people disappeared. I never heard from them again. I never saw them again. That was the end of it, right? Because there's a level of intimidation that is and has been going on, and I'll reiterate this. This was about 15 years ago. This has been going on for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this latest incident, I don't know who this Mary Jane person is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak to her personally. I have no interaction with her. But this is a long-standing issue in Cayman. There are people, poor people from the Philippines and other places around the world who are being paid, taken advantage of on both ends. There is criminal elements in Cayman who are making big money off of abusing these people. Now, I have a question for you. Is this the same one that you were saying has certain ties to certain members of parliament, or is that another individual from the Philippines?
No, I don't know her to have any ties to anybody in parliament.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, Sandra, what we're looking at here is on some level, how does this woman have the power or the sway to be getting work permits for people in the Philippines?
Mm-hmm.
How? What does she have, or what does she do, or what connections does she have that allows her that position? Or is she just simply a lying scammer? Because I don't think she could have survived this long in Cayman without being held accountable.
Well,
if she's not tied directly to Caymanian corruption.
Well, I think that she has just been very, very good at playing people. And so she's gotten away with it for the better half of 10 years. I mean, obviously her MO has changed. She's stolen from people, so she's done different things. I don't know how long the immigration scam part of it has now been going on. Right. So, you know, she's changing up how she gets money from people and how she's playing people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as it happens, often we've all witnessed, you know, the wheels of justice, the wheels of enforcement of justice in Cayman seem to be about as fast moving, you know, as molasses rolling uphill in Alaska in the middle of January. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But one can only hope that bringing forth this matter and publicizing it will light the proverbial fire underneath the butt of the people in charge, whose job it is to protect not only the Caymanian people, but also those who come here to work and live from this type of abuse.
Yeah.
So keep it on, keep the fire going.
Yeah.
I just added a little bit more kerosene to it for you.
Thank you, my dear. I appreciate it. So some of her victims are saying, listen, she doesn't even think about the people who she scammed that had to sell and lend money for them to be able to pay her, hoping that they can come here. Everton says, has she thought about the fact that those people have children too? Everton, I hate to tell you, but narcissists don't care about other people. Of course, her brain understands quite well that everybody has obligations. Everybody has children, you know, or somebody that they're trying to take care of. But her brain doesn't care. A narcissist doesn't care about you. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about other people. Miguel says she wants easy money. She did even think about the people that she scammed. They have to sell their properties and lend some money for them to get the $1,800, hoping that they can come to Cayman. And as Jonathan said, and I was thinking about this as well, is there is an element of potential human trafficking here that we need to look at, right? Because not that she ever has gotten anybody here, but what was the plan in order to get these people here to begin with? Who else is she potentially working with in the Philippines? Is there any, you know, criminal element that she could be working with? He's thinking, well, maybe she has people here in law enforcement that she's working with that is somehow allowing her to get away with this. I don't think so. I think what has happened is, unfortunately, she has gone under the radar yet again. The last time we talked about her was in 2021 about the jewelry that went missing. And she is prolific and she just doesn't stop. So now it's an immigration scam. It's like, what next? Strong Will, go read the article. She stole it out of the lady's handbag, apparently. It's really, really shocking. Morning, Miss Morna. Morning, Ingrid. Miss Sue says, Sandy, you know what? It is so sad that these people like her, will continue to take advantage of persons, get a slap on the wrist, and continue to reap of these islands and the hardworking people. They need to put her on a one-way ticket with her tribe back to wherever She needs to be deported from these islands. We are continually encouraging these criminals to do as they please and no consequences. So I've confirmed that that bank slip, that money is actually deposited into a bank account in the Philippines, into her bank account, as well as that of her nieces. So you see what I'm saying now about there being a larger criminal element to this. So like I said, she has an adult daughter here that works at Mango Tree. I'm sorry, but all of them now need to be investigated. Whatever ones are here in this jurisdiction, they need to be investigated. Cindy says, don't forget to mention that Mary Jean even helped her look for her debit card. Morning, caller.
Good morning, Sunday.
Morning, dear.
Yeah, just quickly. I listened to your comments, your conversation, and other people as well. I will say this. In my opinion, the elements that is into this corruption, you just talking about the tip of the iceberg. What we need, and I maintain, is investigation from external forces coming in to investigate the amount of corruption that we think and see that is so obvious. Nothing's going to happen as it is now. We need independent people coming in here with authority to do what they have to do, because the corruption, as you can see, it's untouchable so far. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for listening to me, and have a good day.
All right, my dear. Well, I think we need to stop relying on other people to solve our problems and even investigate our problems when we ourselves, a lot of times, know what's going on, need to speak up about what's going on. And we need to encourage, as I'm doing here this morning, all of her victims to come forward and speak to the relevant authorities. That's what should be happening. Hashtag Deport Mary Jean trending this morning. Pam DaCosta says, may that have been a Caymanian, you'd still be sitting in jail. Cindy says, I'm going to print me some t-shirts stating Deport Mary Jean. Live Happy says, had the Filipinos used the right channels to secure work, they would not have been scammed. They were aware from the beginning that they were involved in an under the table deal to get work in the Cayman Islands. Live Happy, there's some truth to that, but you have to understand that a lot of them, they're working elsewhere in the world. They don't even know what the procedures are. But I'm going to show you some evidence this morning to also demonstrate how some people, although they are victims, are also complacent in how they become victims themselves. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. And how are you?
Morning, dear. Not bad. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. What I don't understand, you're speaking about this Filipino girl, and she's taking money from a friend from an ATM machine.
Well, that was 4 years ago. She was in court for stealing, withdrawing money from an ATM machine after she stole her coworker's debit card, a coworker and friend.
Yeah. Okay. I come to steal your debit card.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world did she get the PIN number for it?
She, like I said, her and the coworker had gone. I said this earlier, but her and the coworker had gone to the ATM machine on different occasions, and it appears that she was conniving enough to pay attention to what her coworker was actually in.
Well, this is what I think. We have a lot of corruption here. It's squeezing us to pieces. Mm-hmm. But let's begin by taking that same girl and sending her off this island by the first BA flight that this island can get her on, and start making an example out of these things.
Hold on. Don't deport without getting a conviction, because that means she still has a clean police record, and this is the mistake that we keep making. So we're brokering deals with these individuals that allow them to have a clean police record. We are turning around and letting them leave the jurisdiction, right? Now she's going to be on the run. They need to go arrest her and confiscate her passport. Because if they don't do that, she still has a clean police record. She'll go to the Philippines, sit down for 5 years, and then come right back to Cayman. Don't allow her to have a clean police record.
Yeah, you're right. But it's sad that we, the working people of this island, have to put something like that up in a jail and feed them too. Maybe we should start.
You know, this. Let me tell you something. We all feel aggrieved about having to feed criminals, but that's the penal system. That's how it works. If you never prosecute criminals and you allow them to continue to go, they will do what she has done. Continue to rack up victims after victims after victims. They don't stop. So the only way to stop them is to get a conviction and have her spend some time in jail. Then she has a criminal record. Even when she returns to the Philippines, they'll know that, wow, this is someone who has actually been convicted of theft. If you never get a conviction, all of this is just fodder for social media discussion.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So why do they convict this girl? Her friends see to that, and then to put her off of this island. I'm sure we got enough technology and whatnot to connect with the Philippine government as well. So are we going to just continue to put people in uniform, pay them big money, and they're not doing their job, and it's nobody to enforce for them to do their job that they're supposed to do. I'm getting more and more fed up with the system that we have, or the non-existent system that we have, and nothing is done about it. I'm so fed up. What kind of example are we showing our younger people, especially our younger Caymanians? I don't know, but I thank you for taking the call. I could go on, but you have a show to do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, my dear. Hashtag deport Mary Jean trending this morning. Jim says we need justice. Johan wants to move on to the next topic because he's never had somebody scam him of his hard-earned money, so he can't relate to why this is such an important topic that has multiple tentacles. Johan, we're not going to be moving on, but there's a wonderful show right now over at Radio Cayman that you can go join on their YouTube feed. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. My first time calling you.
Oh, welcome to the program.
I had to call in because
yes,
I've been wondering for a long time how I saw something when it must have been like 5-6 years ago. I would sit at a local fast food restaurant, and they got a room where they have tables and chairs, and they're, I guess, the quietness or whatever. And I saw this Filipino lady. I didn't know who she was, and she had about 5 or 6 people in there talking to them, and talking to them about what they're going to do here in Cayman and this, that, and everything. And I thought she acted like she was, it wasn't the first time. This was something she does on a regular basis. And I wondered when I saw that if she's the person who's the agent or whatever that's bringing these people. Well, Sandy, the thing that I've always said is that when we have people coming in here on work permits and so forth, we don't know their character. We don't know. They might have whatever it is we need for them to come in, but we don't know what their mental situation is, or what they do
if they're good, kind, or loving, or truthful, or honest people. You see, you can't figure that out. You have to just anyway. And I thought to myself, one of the things that I'm still concerned about is the fact that I've never heard whether or not government has an escrow account. If when anybody comes here, no matter who they are, if they come here on a work permit, if they have an escrow account where the money that the employer or that person themselves has to put this thing so that when and if they have to be sent off this island, that it doesn't fall back on government, that they haven't. Let that be an escrow account with interest so that if government is making money off it too. So what I'm saying is these are some of the things that I've always wondered about, Sandy, whether we have things in place that, and I don't know, I don't want to say it's not there, but I've never heard about it.
I can tell you it's not there because how they do it years ago, when you came to Cayman, you needed to have a, what you call it now? Return ticket. They changed the law where instead of that every single person pays, I think it's still $200. They pay a $200 fee that goes into an account in the event that individuals need to be repatriated and can't afford to leave themselves. But I can tell you that in order to access that, it is very, very difficult to do so. So that's normally like a situation like death or something, and they don't have anybody else who can send the body back sort of thing. And they have to apply to government in order to have the funds utilized for that purpose. So I don't know that it's technically an escrow account or interest-bearing account really, or, I don't know how they keep the funds separate from everything else, but they do collect $200 from every employer that submits a work permit for the purposes of emergency repatriation situations. But it's not easy for that to happen. And I don't know if it's intended to really deal with criminals like this either.
Well, as we grow, as we get, as we have this growth, we have this, quite a bit of growth recently, a physical growth, that is. And I think that one of the things that we must also look at, when you start growing and you get more businesses, you're going to have more people coming in and work from it because you don't have the thing. And one of the things I've learned in the business of growth or any place is the fact that growth in itself is not a bad thing, but it must be sustainable. And what I see now, what's happening here is the growth isn't sustainable because we have almost double the amount of cars we had before. Got, people are getting tired of having to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, get dressed, and come to work at 9 o'clock. And I don't know what has to happen. Some time ago, I had suggested the government had a monorail that they built a monorail. They could have done it back then for a couple of $1 million, few $1 million. But that was in 1986 when I came up, because I saw the growth happening here with the cars and everything increasing. But nobody seemed to want to get involved in that. And then as time went on, you saw the growth continued. It would have a little lull in once in a while, but it continued again. So my thing is that sustainability is the important thing when you're growing, and you must always have control because you don't have enough inspectors on the in government now to get out there on all places. And we don't know. I've seen a place up there on Crew Road where they built this was a precast building because they had built everything in precast, and then they take a crane, put it up there, and they got a couple of reinforcement rods that connect each other. But God forbid we have an earthquake. And all I can say is talked to people in government. I talked to people that I know, some of my legislators, But if they don't do something, we're going to be left here, and this is what worries me. That what I hear going on now up in Israel with the war and all that stuff, United States, they just shut down their guys on the docks and stuff. They have gone on strike, and they begin to feel the effects of all the stuff that's been happening, and I don't know what's going to happen. But if you see us get a recession here, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, my dear, you're going from one topic to the next, but we do have another caller on the line. Okay. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You have a good day.
You too.
You have a good day.
Thank you, dear. All right. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Sandra, and to all the listeners. If I may add my 0 cent.
Yes, absolutely.
A penny. Okay, so the Philippines, for a short background, has 7,690 plus islands. Depends on the tide. Yeah, because during low tide, some may crop up, especially with all the garbage floating now. But anyway, I digress. So I think, in my opinion, the problem starts with the Philippine government itself, because the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration it was the former name of our government agency that is in charge of all these overseas Filipino workers, which is now called Department of Migrant Workers. They had put in one of the policy that unskilled workers does not have, especially domestic helpers, janitors, and everything, does not have to pay placement fees. But which agency would be in business if you don't charge placement fees? So they still charge it. Like now, it's very exorbitant, 80,000 something in pesos or more. So the people that are, well, because of the 7,700 islands, some of them or most of them are in the remote places, and of course poor. That's why they have the desire to come over, especially hearing from relatives that the Cayman is a paradise thing, which is a lot different than the Middle East environment, because of course the abuses there are more horrendous than, well, we don't have that kind of abuse here in the Caribbean. So it kind of like attract them like honey, okay? So the problem now is these people are being recruited by their families, by their friends who are already here. Come over here, and you only have to be here. Like we will apply for a 3 month. Oh, now I remember. My mind is in a disarray now. This problem started when this 3 month, 6 month temporary work permit started, because before, you only have to apply. You can only come over here with a grant, and that is you start working with the work permit that shows you have a 2-year grant, which is always renewable every year. So now, after Ivan, they had this desire to rebuild the nation quickly. So they have to put this 3 month work permit, but now it is still in force. This 3 month, the island has already been rebuilt several times with all these skyscrapers. So there is no more necessity for this 3 month work permit. It has to go, because this is what the agencies are using as a loophole, because that's what they say. Come over here for 3 month work permit, and then when your feet is already in the door, you can find job by yourself. So these people are willing victims themselves, because all this arrangement had already been informed to them in the Philippines, and you have to pay the agency here, you have to pay the agency there. You're already double debt before you earn anything.
Yes.
Because like you have to sell your soul just to come up with this money to pay all these agencies. Especially if you come from the provinces, you have to go to Manila to process all these things, to go to the medical agencies, and these medical agencies or agencies themselves are also crooks. Yeah, like I pay you under the table, and you tell them that I am good, that my health is good, even if I'm already dying.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the problem is not only here, because as I say, they are willing victims because it's their friends, their families who are enticing them to come over. I pay you whatever, and of course there are employers here who sell their name just to sign it.
Yeah.
So they have employment. They have employers, but have no employment.
Yes. And I mean, let's also be fair that there are people all over the world, not just the Philippines, but a lot of different jurisdictions that come to Cayman, Honduras, Jamaica, in the US, the UK, who are desperate. I think that Caymanians we've been so incredibly blessed and fortunate that we don't understand the level of desperation and poverty that other people live in, where they would do anything to come to Cayman practically. So sometimes they become willing participants. You know, they people traffic them. You know, they get involved in prostitution and other criminal activity because they only see that they need an opportunity to get out of that country and get out of their circumstances. So I think we need to have a better appreciation of where people are coming from, the lengths that they will go, although they are being victimized. You know, a lot of them still don't get the opportunity. People are like Mary Jean stealing their money. But it really comes from a place of desperation. So it's sad.
On the part of Mary Jane, the desperation part is questionable because I don't think she's desperate. She has a daughter. So
no, I don't mean her. I mean the people that she's taken advantage of, who want to come here.
They are her relatives as well.
Well, some of them are not, but they have a level of desperation to try to come here.
And as what she said to the police officer that investigated this case, actually she has something. Well, I cannot say it. So she will be back to the police sometime this month. Anyway, she already has this case. It's an ongoing investigation.
She lies and she's conniving, and you know she puts on this sweet personality and starts crying. And you know, Rafi is the one who's behind it, and Rafi's taken advantage of her, and she didn't know. But I have evidence, which I'm going to now put up on the screen, where she's actually telling people not to notify the authorities that they are paying for their own work permit. So she knows exactly what it is that she's doing. Thank you, caller.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Folks, this is no joke. This woman is deadly. She is seriously a crook and a criminal. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, honey child. How are you?
Good morning, dear. Thanks. How are you? See what this comment says here? To one other person, she was in contact with Adrian. Translated, don't tell them that you paid for your permit. See it right there in black and white, folks. Nobody not making up nothing on this woman. See this? Receipt. This is $1,400 for a permit. BDO, cash transaction. These are people actually depositing money now into her account in the Philippines, and that of her nieces. So her family members also using their accounts for this. And I agree with what that caller said. I mean, listen, we've talked about other jurisdictions that we are aware of who can falsify police clearance certificates. Like she said, you could be dropping down dead. And if you know the right people, you can still get a clean police clearance. It's not just Jamaica. It's the Philippines too. So let's call and hold everybody accountable.
Amen.
This is absolutely ridiculous. The evidence is here. Look at all these receipts of her getting money from people. You can see that this one is coming from an Arabic country. So everything is in Arabic. These people say they're in Saudi Arabia. Yes, ma'am.
Honey child, how are you?
Not too bad, my dear.
Zip some water and lower your pressure for me, please.
You don't see I'm very calm this morning because I want to make sure that I get my points across to the people.
And you're doing that very fine, very well, and very awesome.
See this one here? Sending additional money for airfare. Here's another one where she's telling them that she needs money for housing fee. This woman is a proper conniving thief. Received by her, and according to her, this fee is for my housing fee. So she's acting like she's an agent for all sorts of stuff with these people. Gonna arrange housing for them and the whole 9 yards. She's a proper crook.
Sandy, or immigration or police or court system is a failure. It is those three departments are a failure to these beautiful islands. You child, they are importing criminals are being imported into the Cayman Islands. You child, why can't they get up to speed, up to date with the fingerprinting system? Get that in place. Even Honduras has a fingerprinting system. A third world country has a fingerprinting system. When they come in immigration, you have to scan your finger to get your finger scan done. Why can't we have that here? You understand? Sandy, what they do is what that lady said is she's 100% correct. They pay off medical to get a clean police record. They pay off the police to get a clean police record and a clean medical record. You hear what I'm telling you? And I'm telling you, it is facts, you child. It is facts. You can go in, especially any of these third world countries, and pay off officials to get any record you need clean. It can happen, and that's why they don't know that it's criminals they're coming in here with. But the fingerprinting system would change all of that. Immigration need to stop this 3-month permit because as the lady says, this is where the loophole is. You understand? I don't understand why Caymanians sit down and allow all of this to happen because of too much pride. All they need to do is stand up one time, and that might just might straighten up our laws or law enforcement or MPs, because then you say over and often on the go and tell on the MP 101, the MP gonna go back and come back in return and tell you what you want to hear. Go in a bulk, go a whole pile of people get together and go and put the stipulations down. What Cayman people don't understand is that France or the governor isn't the bosses of these MPs. We the people are. We the people are the bosses of these MPs. And if Caymanians was to stick together and stand up and speak out, enough is enough, by God, you will see changes. You understand? But they're not ready for changes. That's why they refuse to go and stand and say, okay, let's come together and do a peaceful protest and let our government know this is what we want, this is what we're demanding. Until then, nothing is going to change. You understand? There's a saying said, together we stand, divided we fall. You understand? And we need to make an example if we're going to look for the future of our children and grandchildren and great-grand. Caymanians need to come together and say enough is enough and demand changes, demand enforcement of laws that are already in place, because the majority of these laws are already in place. They're just not acting them out. You understand? They're just not acting them out. And that is in every department, including the police.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Cindy claims that her mom is on a retreat. She's wondering how she got so much fire in her belly this morning. Good morning, caller.
Mr. Amelia is supposed to be on a seniors retreat with seniors. Please get her off the phone.
Oh my gosh, she says she's supposed to be on a seniors retreat. That's right, Miss Amelia. Even when you're on vacation, you care about what's happening in this country. Well, this is quite a hot mess. We had another caller. She was just calling my private number. 936-2626 is the telephone number. Let me see if I can call this one back now. Hold on one second. I have two numbers on this phone now. So good morning, caller. Let me see if I can.
Good morning.
And call this one back. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, how you doing today, Anna?
Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, this conversation touching again this morning is the problem is Cayman immigration need to stop being pimps for these work permits. There's no other way of putting it. No, hear me out. Before I talk, it's the company responsibility that get not the permit to pay for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, this account, this is a great loophole, and this woman mightn't be the only one that doing it. And in fact, I know that she's not the only woman that doing it. So
this government, well, nowadays something else, but they were supposed to be closing off the temporary work permits, and it was the employers that jump up about how they need temporary work permits and this, that, and the next thing, and blah, blah, blah. You know, that stopped the government from doing it. I think the government needs to seriously consider stopping temporary work permits.
Yeah, is the tail that wagging the dog on this island. So what I'm saying, right? Okay, we got a money laundering, anti-money laundering laws in this country, and the same Cayman Islands government is laundering and cleaning the money without they knowing, or there's a loophole for them to know. Listen, you got a company here in the Cayman Islands, right? And I get a permit out for you. The money for that account should never come from somewhere else. That should be an account here for that company that there should be more scrutinizing.
First of all, she does not even have a company. So But here's the thing: she's not taking out. Let's be very, very clear here. She's actually not taking out permits for people. You know, she is telling them that in order to get their money.
I know. Listen. I know. I follow you. Right. So this is what I'm saying now. There needs to be more scrutinizing to see that this woman had a company in the first place, right? Okay. So in a legitimate company now, somebody that do have a company now, they should have an account on this island. That shouldn't be nowhere else. There should be an account for that company or for that person on this island to say that when you're taking out a permit, you show me the receipt from a local bank here and from this company, that we could know if you got enough business to employ this person in the first place. All that should be done. You see, but they're not doing that. They just pin the money. The money could come from wherever, and they don't know where the money come from. The money could be mafia proceedings, and they just taking it here and laundering and cleaning at the same time. So it's the same Cayman Islands government that is cleaning the money. You know, so it'll never get done unless they do something like that. Have a local account here for the same company that we could follow your account. That the business would follow your account. They need to be more policing, and they need to get serious.
Companies that are going to be compliant with that sort of stuff, they're not the companies that we're talking about this morning, and that's not who we need to worry about. They do things by the book. It's people like her who's just a common thief looking to abuse people, who will get involved in human trafficking, who will get involved in money laundering and all of these other things. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. People get on here and they're not gonna work for them. So if they would follow their account, they would know that okay, where your workers, they used to have to show up paper saying, well, they got X amount of work and all that for this person. All that is out of the window now. You know, all that is out of the window now. You know, when next week you gonna touch on this referendum thing or what?
Yeah. We come into it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much. You too. Ingrid says San Andres is a small island, and even we who are under the Colombian government, the Colombian people, when they're entering San Andres, they need to have a visitor's entry. As they reach into the island, they're being fingerprinted at immigration before they can enter. Priscilla says immigration reform and enforcement. Damien says we need labor reform also. Every expat that comes here potentially takes a job from a Caymanian. And we need to stop the 9 years here and 1 year rollover, put it back to 5 years and 3 years rollover. I don't know that it was ever 5 years, to be honest. Wasn't it 6 years or something else initially? Somebody else said the labor board is also a failure. Looks like we're good at failures around here. Juliana says Amelia shouldn't talk too much. Okay. Juliana. Okay. I guess Mr. Amelia needs to respond to your comment this morning. And I'm wondering now, why are y'all attacking each other? Oh my God. Lord have mercy. Juliana goes on to say, and that woman that owns Sari's boutique has 2 construction companies, and she makes her employees pay for their own work permits, pension, and insurance. And she also takes out of their hourly pay for them for every day they work. Okay. I mean, you guys seem to know that there's a lot of offenders here, and so you certainly need to get on reporting them. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
Yes, good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, I just want to find something out regarding seniors because some of these institutions, like the banks, are telling you to go online and to pay online, and the seniors cannot do all of those stuff. Most seniors don't even have a phone. And First Caribbean Bank used to take payments over the counter for another institution. Now they stopped doing that, and there have been a problem. They need to go online, and it's been like, it's been just a problem for seniors who can't go online. And I don't know what's going to happen to seniors because they're saying go online to pay your bills, go online to do that, and it can't. I usually pay to an account and usually like pay the money over the counter. Now they say it can't go that way. That's third party. Then you put the money in your bank account and transfer it to the person account.
Can I just pause you there? Because this is way off the topic that we're discussing this morning. We only have 15 minutes left.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yes, I realize. We've talked about this before, but let's pick this up perhaps on Monday's show.
Okay.
Yes?
All right.
Okay, my dear.
Yes,
Very
bye-bye.
good. All right. Yeah, sometimes we gotta stay on topic just a little bit. Give me 1 second, honey child. Let me make another call here. This person was trying to reach us, but they were calling my personal number. So hold on. I'll give them an opportunity to jump in on the conversation.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I called because I'm so concerned of this, going on with my people who's becoming victims of illegal recruitment and being fooled by, giving them, creating opportunities in their head. And then when they reach the island, I mean, what was promised to them was not even, in the contract. But in fairness to this, to my countrymen, I want them to know that there is a law in the Philippines for illegal recruitment. And especially for those that are still in the Philippines and who are victims of these people, they can file an illegal recruitment case to these people, and this is they can put these people to jail for 12 years to 20 years. In fairness to the trouble that they have given them, and these people are also fined from 1 million pesos to 2 million pesos if it is only for one victim. But if they have several victims, it will go up to 5 million and up. And the penalty will also go up to more than 20 years of imprisonment. So I want them to know about it, ma'am, because if they don't know their rights and they don't know that, they can also not like retaliate or, get even with them. But they should also know that these illegal recruiters are crooks, and they should be put to jail. And even if the crook is still here in the island, they can file a case with the labor office in the Philippines. And once they reach our country, once they're sent home from Cayman or from whichever part of the island they are, they will be held in the airport itself and thrown straight to jail if they have a valid case against these people. Now they have their proof that they have already sent these people money. They have proof that they have fake work permits. They can always file, and I know the Washington embassy in the Philippines is already familiar with this case. They can also assist them in the Philippines once they file the case. And for all those who are still here in the island and who are victims of this, they can still do it. They can ask their family to file a case against these people. So once Cayman Islands sends these people home, first and foremost, they can never go back to the island. Never. Or whichever part of the world they want to go and victimize again another Filipino or a group of Filipino people. They can never do that anymore.
Yes.
So they should know that, there is a law against illegal recruitment.
Yes.
And what is the amount of years that they have to, be imprisoned, and the amount of money that they need to find.
Yes.
So
and there's some available recourse.
Yes, ma'am. And they shouldn't be afraid of, what if they don't have lawyers? Philippines also give free legal assistance, and they also give assistance, especially to victims of illegal recruitment.
Okay.
Yes.
And
all they need to do is
tell us how they can get in contact with the relevant agencies, because obviously she has businesses, she has properties in the Philippines. This money is going through Filipino accounts, so that now they should be able to freeze those assets, freeze her bank accounts in the Philippines, those of her nieces and other people. We've demonstrated this morning the account numbers. The evidence is there.
Yes, ma'am. Let my Filipino people bear in mind that any act of canvassing, enlisting, contracting, transporting, utilizing, hiring, or procuring workers, which includes referring of contract services, promising or advertising for employment abroad, whether for profit or not, this is also tantamount to illegal recruitment or human trafficking. They should be aware of that. I'm pretty sure maybe these illegal recruiters are not aware, or maybe they just want to, because the money is very, enticing. They want it straight to their pocket. The Philippines has a good law when it comes to protecting their people, because that's the number one export in the Philippines, the Filipino workers. A lot of us are skilled workers. That's why the government protected us. But these crooks, they try to entice these people. Don't go to the Department of Migrant Workers to process your document. Go straight to us. You only need to pay this. So they're not even realizing that, sometimes going directly to the Department of Migrant Workers office is cheaper than paying these people.
Yes.
It's legal than paying these people.
Especially since you're not going to get your money back. I mean, that's the worst part, right? That these people are taking advantage of you, and they're taking, your hard-earned money, and you're never going to get it back. And then you're also never going to get a job either, because they're not actually putting in applications.
Yes, and just like what the previous caller said, we sell our lands, we sell whatever properties that we can sell just to pay these people. And then when you reach Cayman or whichever part of the world that these illegal recruiters promise us, you are thrown back to our country with nothing now. We have nothing. We have sold everything. Some of us came from the province, have to spend a lot of amount of money already just to go to Manila to process our papers or just to leave the country. And you have to sell everything with a promise and believing these illegal recruiters that you will have a better life, you will have a better pay. And then, like what the victim was saying yesterday, her husband came to the island and it was rejected by the immigration officer because the document is fake. I don't know what kind of stomach these people have that they can swallow, and fool, people, hard-earned money that you're not only depriving people from their livelihood, but you're also depriving people for their future. So that's why the Philippine government have a very strong and have a big penalty on illegal recruitment, and that's what these people. I hope the lady that you spoke yesterday was listening. They can file a case against these people there, so that when this illegal recruitment goes home, they go directly to prison.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And they should. Yeah, thank you also. Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you, Ms.
really,
Sandra.
really, really appreciate that.
We appreciate also you were doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So, folks, there are resources available, really, is the bottom line, to help you. And you have to, if you don't know where those resources are, thank you so much to that caller for advising us of the availability of those resources. It doesn't make any sense for you to fall victim because you think you're shortcutting, you think there's some job guarantee. I think that because Mary Jean has been here for 10 years, there's a lot of people who probably believe that she has some insight into the employment market here in the Cayman Islands and that she can really help them. And clearly that's not the case. She's just stealing from people. Damien says, send CMR that information so that she can put it up. Yeah, she's just stealing from people and taking advantage of people. And I think the Filipino community, I know there's the Bayanihan community and there are others who they need to have these discussions within their community as well to advise people both here and abroad to not fall victim to these types of scams. As a previous caller said, a lot of these people apparently are her family members, or at least some of them are. So I suppose they trusted her. They thought that she was someone of good character and that they could trust. Clearly, folks, that is not the case. Someone says here, scamming people like MJ is why would this not be a topic that he wants to listen to? So some people who said that they're being bored by the conversation. I don't know what to tell you all, but this is a very, very important conversation that we're having. And we've talked about scammers in all sorts of communities because we see it all the time. And some people are very, very prolific. It just so happens that this particular one is in the Filipino community, but it is certainly, not unique to them. It is in all expat communities, the Indian, Nepalese, and so on. And so, at the end of the day, folks, we have to eradicate it from all angles, quite frankly. Someone says that temporary work permits are vital to the seamless operation of businesses in these islands when we import such a mass amount of labor. No, not 5 or 6 years. It used to be 7 years for the rollover before it went to 9 years. However, when has that ever benefited the Caymanian looking for work? The term limit policy sounds good in theory, but it doesn't accomplish its intention by any means. The information about return tickets, repat fees for work permits was actually not correct, but I'll leave that there. No. Well, tell me what it is, because isn't everyone paying as set fee now in terms of instead of a repatriation fee per country or having a return ticket? Aren't people now paying just a $200 fee or $250 fee, and then that goes into a pool? Good morning, caller. Hello. Oh, not sure what happened to that caller. 936-2626 is the telephone number. Yes, good morning, caller. Hello. All right. Okay. Let's see. Another person says that if no action is taken now due to your reporting, then she is connected She isn't under the radar now. Well done. Temporary and seasonal work permits are needed and very valuable for those of us who use them. They just need to be policed and properly regulated as per law. Please don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just enforce the laws on the books. Someone sent me Bermuda's policy. All right. Let me see any other comments. Okay, 9:29, Honey Chow on a Friday. Irvlin says, Faded Mary Jean Edwards, that's them. They support their own regardless of the situation. I must have missed another comment there. Andrews says, good morning. Sandy and Cayman, all these problems fall under the politicians who've been respectively elected to enforce the policies and are not doing their jobs. Well, politicians are actually not in charge of enforcement, but if the enforcement agencies are not doing their jobs, and clearly the politicians should, at the very least, raise those concerns with the head of the civil service. But politicians are not in charge of enforcement. That's like saying politicians are the ones going out there arresting people, which they're not, and they don't have that power. Andrew says corruption all over in Cayman and people are suffering because of it. A fool is born every day, says Aliano, but there's no excuses because the right way is always the wrong way for a crook. Irvlin says that it's a big gamble as well. Easy Pay, I was actually thinking of them. Easy Pay says that should cover this in the sugar and spice with Supremo and Miss Sandy. Yes, where's Spices? I used to have her, I think, on my WhatsApp. Can someone ask Sugar and Spice to message me, please? Because yes, I think again, listen, we have a lot of really good, upstanding Filipino people here, and they know that this puts their entire community at risk and under immense scrutiny. And I can tell you that if they're upstanding people, they don't want to see anybody like Mary Jean continue to do this, because it does reflect poorly on them. And they worry about what the government's position will be that could impact all Filipinos in this country. Damien says the majority of cheap labor here will not qualify for PR with buying and owning property in 9 years. So what's the point? Well, then you need to ask yourself how Mary Jean is doing it, Damien. Maybe they know something that you don't know. This person says, Ma'am Sandy, please shout out Senator Rafi Tulfo in the Philippines. He has a program like you addressing illegal recruitment and scam activities. I know she'll listen to you and pay attention to this issue. Live Happy says, anyone bored with this conversation doesn't care about the future of their Caymanian children. Every status granted blocks opportunities for their children. And like I said, there's a lot of interconnected issues here with, it's bad enough that legal immigration and legal recruitment has a serious impediment on us. But when it's illegal and the people are not even, like I said, they're not even getting the jobs. That's the worst part as well, is they're not getting the employment. So they themselves are being taken advantage of. There's a lot of peripheral issues that come into play here that should be very, very concerning. Jonathan says it's the same reason people like McKeever are not behind bars for the rest of their natural born days. The web extends far, the iceberg is deep. The corruption runs through multiple layers of maladministration from the inside and from the inside out and from the outside in. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning, love. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a passionate expat of the Cayman Islands, married to a Caymanian.
Yep.
Been here half of my life. Seen a lot of changes. Some good, some not so good. But people that are making comments about, let's move on, so on and so forth. This isn't just about Mary Jane.
No,
this is about,
of course.
This is about the organized corruption going on in the Cayman Islands, from Filipino community, from the Indian community, from the Jamaican community, from the American community, and on it goes. People do not understand how serious of a matter this is. I know for a fact, you and I have had conversations, and I have to watch exactly what I say, but I know for a fact there is human trafficking going on in the islands and the Indian community. I know for a fact because I helped somebody with that issue. Now these people are being brought over here, not only have to pay, beg, borrow, and steal the money, they have to pay interest on that beg, borrowing, and stealing of the money.
That's right. That's right.
And also, what I would like to know is the repatriation fees of these people coming here. Are they showing, as they enter the Cayman Islands, that they have enough money with them to get them back to their home country if, in fact, they have to be deported? No, they don't. They don't. I know that for a fact as well. Somebody coming from the Philippines paying almost $5,000 for a plane ticket doesn't have another $5,000 in their pocketbook, their wallet, or their pocket when they enter the Cayman Islands. So who is paying for these people to be deported? The people of the Cayman Islands, not the government, the people. So when is everybody going to stop sitting back in their recliner, watching their favorite soap opera or eating their bonbons, and get up off of their butts, stop complaining about it, don't give up, keep fighting, no matter how long it takes, keep fighting, make your voices heard. These people, some of them, we have to be their advocates. Some of these people, we have to raise our voices for these people because they're in fear of their livelihood. They're in fear of their life. Their family life. Not only could they have their name tarnished here in the Cayman Islands, but also tarnished in their own countries, which would tarnish the name of their families. This nonsense has to be stopped. This criminal activity must be looked at accordingly, and the convictions must be handed down accordingly. And it's just got to stop. We are going down the wrong rabbit hole. People can complain all they want, but we are definitely going down the wrong rabbit hole when it comes to this type of activity in the island. It is organized, it's corrupt, and it's happening every single day.
Thank you, caller.
You bet.
It is really wild and crazy. Wow. Oh my gosh. Somebody said, please give that caller kaboom. This person says, good morning, kaboom to that gentleman. I agree with him. That's another request for kaboom. Another person says, I agree 100%. Kaboom to that gentleman. Wow. It's crazy. Damien, he says it's nothing new. It's been going on for the last 4 decades. Well, that doesn't mean we're going to sit back and allow it to continue to happen. So there's that. Aliano says a 1-year income withdrawal to immigration is needed to fund these people's repatriation and a strict 3-strike clause. 3 strikes? Listen, 1 strike and you're gone as an employee. I don't know what y'all talking about 3 strikes for. What does this look like? Hi. Cameron says give him a kaboom. Damien says that was called repatriation fees, which they no longer require now. El Rey says, I know Johan can't get kabooms like that. Lord have mercy. Listen to me, folks. We're in a situation. And so, yes, I take the time to highlight individual situations to show the necessary evidence. And, we have done this before. And like I said, there's no favoritism in my eyes when it comes to wrongdoing. I've sat here and I've done this with Caymanians who've stolen money, and I've laid out the case. I've showed how they've taken money from hardworking people and what it is that they do. And I do it for anyone. To me, it doesn't really matter who they are. We have got to, if we want to live in a better community and a better society, we have to eradicate the wrongdoing from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. Simple as that. Now I'm told that Mary Jean no longer has employment. So what we now need to do is we need to let people in the Filipino community be very, very aware that she's unemployed and she's desperate now, which means that the scamming will probably increase because remember, she's put in her application for a permanent residence. She's had her interview. She felt so confident in the outcome of that situation that she could go on social media and get flippant with me yesterday, pour her little soul. She says she doesn't have to answer to me. She claims that the authorities know that she's been acquitted, which of course that's a lie. This is what she does. This back in 2020, February 2020, when we reported on her initially, she took to the Filipino community page at Pinoy's in Cayman, and she wrote this long message proclaiming her innocence and money had, attorney has handled her case, stands firm on the right verdict. I have a wedding. What should say? I have a wedding until now. I shouldn't have anything to worry about. Just on and on and on. Because she's gotten away with it for so long, I suspect that she believes her own lies, which is very, very shocking. So she can certainly believes her own lies all she wants to, but I think she has been exposed now. Okay. And so let's not have any misgivings about what this is, the type of person she is, but there's more like her. Like I said, at some level, this isn't even about Mary Jean. This is about people like her. Okay. She went and changed her social media name yesterday. She thinks she's so incredibly smart. The system needs to do what the system needs to do, which is now the system needs to work. If you are one of those individuals who has been scammed by Mary Jean, you have an obligation, number one, to not be afraid. She's nobody. All she's going to do is cry and claim that, her children need her and this and that. Yeah, other people have children. Other people have obligations. Other people have family that they should be dealing with. But now you put them in the hole. You put them in a poor financial position. So, of course, she did the same thing to her nephew yesterday. She called saying, I have kids. Are you happy now? What a bitch. Like, seriously. She cares about nobody and nothing but herself. She's disgusting. Really and truly. Over 13,000 members in the Pinoy and Grand Cayman group. There's another one in Pinoy's in Cayman, 9.9 thousand. Right? It is time that you guys outed someone like her and informed the other members of your community about her. She has been permitted for far too long to deceive people. And, that's it. There's no more. So these organizations are meant to share information with others, to be a help to one another. Sometimes, during COVID, they came together. They helped their community members if they needed to have food. In fact, somebody said to me yesterday that they actually, let me see here now what this message was. They said that they met her during the COVID situation, and she reached out claiming that she was hungry. This is what they said. They said, she's not really my friend. What happened is that during the pandemic and things were tight, the Filipino community were helping one another with groceries to make it through. And when she begged for groceries on our Filipino Facebook group, I felt sorry for her because she was pregnant at the time. I reached out to her and offered some groceries and delivered it to her apartment. She asked if we could be friends on Facebook, so I accepted. But it's a disgrace to the Filipino community, what she's doing or what she has done. And I don't want to be associated with someone doing bad things to other people. I'm not perfect, but I try to do my best. And I will unfriend her now. Take care, Miss Sandy. And she has also, friended people like the deputy governor, Mr. France Manderson. I said to him this morning, I said, France, this woman has friended you on Facebook. She's probably using that to say, look, I'm friends with the deputy governor. So therefore, yes, I have connections. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do that because I know him. France doesn't know who the hell she is. So he also, as of today, will now be unfriending her. Listen, you cannot do wrongdoing and think that you're going to get away with it and that people are going to sit back and not do anything about it. It's as simple as that. Her number is up. That's it. Her number is finally up, folks. All right. I'm not going to stay on any length of time today because I do have some stuff I'm trying to clear out, actually, to make some donations. You guys saw yesterday I posted. I've got 2 large bags of school supplies. So if you are a parent that's in need, now I know some of you are requesting deliveries and stuff. Child, I'm a very busy person. I don't know if I can do all that. I've got several meetings scheduled for today. But I'm going to take these bags by the radio station. Some of these things might be slightly used. Some are not used at all. There's one here, 301 preschool questions and answers, 192-page book, hasn't even been unzipped. I'm a mother of an only child, so honey child, she gets all sorts of stuff. What can I say? So we're doing a clear out of her study area. And so there's a lot of stuff that she's, no longer age appropriate for her. And I figured other people could really utilize these items. So we're putting donation, the 2 big bags. Now, like I said, I'm not going to have time to be doing much like in the way of personal deliveries. But what I can do is I'll leave them by the station and you guys can go and pick up what you want and sort it out for yourselves. I know that the 301 whatever book, that one is already gone. So, but the others are there. Lots of reading materials, preschool championships, write and wipe activities, all sorts of math guides, reading books. Read to your children at least 20 minutes a day, folks. It will determine their success or not in life. She's kind of moved past the Bluey stage now. So there's a lot of Bluey and bingo stuff. She claims she's not into Peppa Pig anymore, honey jail. So there's Fancy Nancy. So some of it might be more towards girls and things that little girls are into, but some of it is unisex and it doesn't really matter. So do let me know. In fact, you don't have to let me know by this afternoon. The bags will be there and you can go buy. We have a lot of pencils and crayons. So I'm going to bag some of those up as well. And go ahead and leave these donations at the station for you to go by and have a look. All right. So Damien says a pathological liar, con artist, and maybe a sociopath. All probably very, very true. Miss Jennifer says true. Maybe her boyfriend company is she's using to recruit people. I don't even know. I don't even know what her and Rafi are up to. But Rafi also needs to answer to some of this. She's seeking to put the blame on him. So I'm sure the authorities will want to speak to Rafi as well. Folks, we got a bit of good news this morning. Yes, El Racist, she's a narcissist, conniving, conning and crooked, chronic thief, as Caymanians would say. All of those things surely apply. But a bit of good news to end the program today, folks. This is good news for us. You can alleviate a lot of your worries now. The strike in Miami is over. So look at that good news. Dock workers are back on the job after reaching a deal to end the strike. It didn't really impact us because apparently the companies that we use are not part of a union in any event, but they were able to quickly resolve this. So now the strike is over. So that's good news they're fighting for their rights. I can't fault them. I didn't get too much into the details of what was going on with them, but they have now reached some sort of conclusion within the space of a week. So that's good news. Strong Will says that Sandy, she's very feisty and bright, lawless. You is her match. Good job, Sandy. God bless your heart. Yeah, listen, I don't know who she thinks she is. Clearly, she thinks she's somebody special, but not today, TD. Not in the Cayman Islands. I don't know if you're special in the Philippines, but you're not special here, and you're certainly not special to the point where you're above the law. But I appreciate you trying to come for me, because that never worked out too well for you. Now you're out of a job. The authorities are going to be arresting you and charging you, and you'll be held accountable for your behavior. So welcome to the accountability club. Lizette says, what about her boyfriend and his company? Yes, obviously whoever Rafi is, he needs to be investigated as well. He's supposedly the Dominican. If he's involved in this, but who knows? This is the problem with somebody like her. She's such a narcissist that she could be telling people that, because how is this Dominican guy, how does he have a company where he can hire people? He doesn't have Cayman status. And someone said yesterday that she's been checking some Caymanian that she soon get married to and, get her anchor status to be able to stay here. So Rafi, he might be being played by her as well. He might think he's the only one, but who really knows? And to be honest, I'm not talking about Senator Rafi Tulfo. I'm talking about the man that she claims that she is in cahoots with. Anyway, good folks, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the program today. Please have yourselves a blessed day. And again, if you're interested in the donated school supplies, I'm aiming to have them at the station, hopefully by around 12:30 or so. And I will leave them there for you. Cameron says Sandy is the right one to be flippant with. Charles did little did she know. Jim says if she's granted PR, it would be such a disservice and injustice to all Caymanians and to the people who sincerely care about these islands. And I don't think that she now has a chance in hell, Jim, of getting that PR application accepted. All right, my beautiful folks, all of you have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Don't forget there's a circus in town this weekend, and I don't mean clown Mary Jean. I mean like a real circus right next to Kirk Office, that lot there. You can go over the weekend, and they're going to have little circus stuff. Go check it out. The American Circus, I think, is about 90% already sold out. So grab your tickets. I think you still have an opportunity to do so. We'll pop through at some point and see what's going on. So I believe the circus starts, is it today, tomorrow, and Sunday? Something to do for the weekend, folks. You all have a blessed day, and please be safe on the roadway. Remember, no drinking and driving. Think of others when you're on the road. Drive safely, and we shall see you guys bright and early on Monday morning, 7:30 a.m. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.